way. Put some respect on my guy's fucking name with my co-host Kuya Flip, Mr. Mikey Infante.
Yes, sir.
Everybody. I'm glad to be here.
Let's get it.
Comment, like, subscribe, and let's get this going, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. So first question, though, Mikey, man, to get this started, man, is I was really curious, like, what does acting mean to you?
Acting means everything, man. It's a life, it's a lifestyle, and just for me, it's a way to show people that anything is possible. Right? You don't see a lot of people with disabilities on TV or anything like that in movies, and
absolutely
that. So I wanted to do that when I was younger, and I wanted to show people that anything is possible.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Commendable.
Absolutely. What was because obviously I find the fact that you're also into bodybuilding is kind of different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What was the motivation to want to get into bodybuilding? Because obviously you've done theater stuff and acting stuff for a while, but it's kind of, you know what I mean, interesting that you also do bodybuilding.
So during COVID 2021, I had a PE teacher, Bob Bell, who does the World Natural Bodybuilding Federation. And he was my PE teacher for the longest time. So then when I got older, when I graduated high school, I told him, like, hey, I'm interested in competing. Can we do a wheelchair division? He's like, yeah. So we did that. And then during COVID, when everything shut down, there was no shows going on. But I started training harder. I started lifting weights. My dad was a boxer. So I was always around that fitness lifestyle. So I was like, okay, I'll try this bodybuilding stuff, see how it goes. Interesting, because I never knew how to diet. And I always watched these big people like, Kalen Von Mugger and all these greats, and I was like, this is interesting, this is really something different. But I like that lifestyle. I like how lifting weights makes you feel.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm relatable with that too, bro. I'm not very good at dieting either.
Yeah.
I think we know that.
Yeah.
We've got Eli Normhold saying, hi, Mike. Yo, Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Shout out to Eli, man. Shout out Eli. I also was curious, is like, it's kind of a two-parter. So, one, how many competitions have you been a part of when it comes to bodybuilding? And two, how many have you won?
I've done about, this last one being last week, because I'm all, my tan's all messed up right now. It's all messed up. It's all splotchy. I've done about 4.
4? Okay.
I won about all of them.
Awesome, hey, dude. Congratulations. Yeah. That's what we like to hear.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm a competitive-ass motherfucker, so I love to hear that shit.
I won about all of them, and just the overall, I think I feel a lot confident, much better this time around compared to when I first started. Because when I first started, you get that foundation going, but you really don't have that muscle maturity that you need. So now that I'm 23 now, so I started when I was 21, so about 2-year difference. So I was like, okay, I feel a lot better now. I feel a lot more confident now in my body and how this works and how logistically muscles work and all that, how the foundation works for that.
So when you're getting ready for like a competition or what's the time process like? Like, let's say you've got something coming up in August. Yeah. When do you start training for that? And obviously you've been going to the gym for a while, but when do you start really getting into that mode? Like, what's that time frame like?
So if I was at a high percentage of body fat, I would start in June.
Okay.
All the way into the show is in the first week of August. I would start in June, depending on how it would go, and then you would dive deeper into the cutting phase of no water, eating less carbs, etc. So on the day of competition, you have you cut out water completely, or what I do, and it's terrible. But you get to have the striations and the shredding and all that stuff and all the veins. So for those last few days of competition beforehand, you don't eat as much or you don't eat anything at all. I like to intermittent fast. And I like to do it at the extreme level.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I have a little extra body fat within me, I'm like, okay, I need to just do that. I just eat 1 meal a day and be done with it.
And that you start the 1 meal a day all the way from June?
No, so
that's in your cutting phase?
I would do, like 2 weeks prior, I would do that. I would do 1 meal a day. So I would have skip breakfast and lunch, and then I would work out, and then afterwards I would just eat a big dinner. As long as I fit that protein macro in there. So as long as I have a protein window and get the nutrients I need within that day. Because for muscle, you need protein. You don't need carbs. You don't need any of that. I mean, carbs is one way to look at it. But, there's many different diets and different fads. Yeah. So protein is what you need to build that muscle.
There you go. Okay, one last thing, bro. After your competition, what's your first go-to cheat meal?
I had pizza.
That's a great question.
I had pizza. I had brownies. I had burgers. I basically had a food coma the
night
night after.
There you go. I do that every day. That's tight, bro.
That's a great question, though. Okay, well, since you brought up pizza, do you think pineapple belongs on pizza? It's that's a controversial opinion for some people.
See, I don't mind it. I'll eat it.
Because I eat that shit.
I don't mind
it. I eat that shit.
Without a doubt.
I eat that shit.
Yes, sir.
See, I don't mind it. I'll eat it.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I think this is going to be a more thoughtful question and answer. Yeah. So, take the time if you need to answer this next question, because I kind of thought of this as more of a little thoughtful one. As a disability advocate, what things do you feel needs to be a point of emphasis to showcase other individuals like yourself that have a physical disability?
As far as like the media, or as far
like
as just
everything. So you personally, if you feel like you need to showcase certain things to show that anyone can do anything, or whether it's media attention, just like an overview of like what do you feel needs to be more of an emphasis for people to not look down upon someone with a disability?
I think just from that standpoint of awareness on things, because again, in school we're not taught on how people with disabilities are, or how the wide variety of disabilities. Right, we have autism, we have different disabilities all around the board. So my disability is cerebral palsy, and my cousin has a different form of cerebral palsy. I got lucky that I only have the affection of my legs to use, and that's the only effects. But there's many different types of it. So just the wide variety understanding of these different disabilities all around the board, and getting the deep in detail of what it is, because many different people have many different outlooks on how the disability affects them. But as long as you get a deeper understanding of it on a deeper level, like, hey, we're all people too. The disability doesn't define you, but it's a good superpower within you on how to live yourself and how to find yourself.
Okay, I love that answer, because like you said, like I think awareness is probably like the biggest issue in general, like whether it's media attention, day-to-day conversations, or even taught in school, because like you said, like we grew up in the same school system. Like teachers don't really talk about everyone's differences and disabilities, this and that, whether physical or mental or emotional. Like not a lot of that stuff is being talked about, so no one really knows what someone can deal with on a day-to-day basis, which then doesn't allow enough understanding between one another.
And again, when I was a junior in high school, during summer, I did this thing called YLF. It's called Youth Leadership Forum, and I worked at this place called California Independent Living Center, where they had people with disabilities like work jobs as far as marketing and different positions to get real life experience. So I really wanted to dive into that. So when I went to the Youth Leadership Forum, it was like a week. And I was at SAG State, and it was for summer, and I got to experience people with all different forms of disabilities. And we all were all in the same, area, and we were all connecting as a community because we got to learn how ADA was and the history of disabilities. Because, as an individual, we have our own experiences, but at the end of the day, connecting with everyone and learning how each story is intertwined, that's the best thing that can happen, because we can all learn from each other.
That's beautiful.
That's absolutely beautiful. And programs like that or jobs like that is like another step in that direction to show and share awarenesses. You know what I mean? Like that's just... shit like that's awesome, in my opinion. Because that reminds me of my big brother. You know what I mean? He has a learning disability, but he also worked at a company that was a recycle company that, provided jobs for, people with a disability. And then there's also other companies like Pride Industries that hires, people with disabilities to pick up garbage and stuff like that. So shit like that, I love that. You know what I mean? Because it just provides everybody an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, whether we know it or not, there may be companies or jobs that might discriminate. They won't say it. Yeah. They won't, be outlandish with it. But they'll might look at a person and see that check marked and be like, I don't know if I want to hire that person. Yeah. You know what I mean? But to have things, jobs and programs like that I think is fucking amazing. Because it makes the playing field a little bit more equal for everybody.
Of course, and like you said, for when I was in high school, again, social media is a big factor in things. And now we got cyberbullying, we got all these negative comments and such. So now it's just learning in that area and learning that expertise and how to navigate that, because again, social media is a big platform. We're doing this podcast with everybody here in this room, right? So we're learning from people and learning their stories. So social media can be used as a benefit, can also be used as a negative tool thing. It can be used, whatever you want to use it for, but at the end of the day, it can be used for good or bad. So
absolutely. Anything in life, everything has its own delicate balance.
Exactly.
And by the way, shout out to the homie Josh for doing the camera work behind the scenes. Shout out to his girl Soph. If you could flip it back to yourself. I don't know if you can flip it back to yourself.
I don't have the webcam today, but I love you guys and I appreciate you. Real quick in here, we got Angel Guerrero, Lena Ledesma, and Victoria Lyra all saying, "What's up, Mike? How are you?" And
what's
my bro.
Up? I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Hell yeah. That's what I like to see, man. Interactions, activity, baby.
Facts, yeah.
My next question for you, though, Mikey, is going to be, have you felt it's more of a challenge to find acting jobs because of your physical condition? Or do you feel it's more of like a... what is that saying? Typecasting, or do you feel like it helps with typecasting?
So again, I
kind of talking about that double-edged sword we were just talking about.
So I did theater growing up in high school. Like we went to the same high school. We did theater plays and drama. And
shout out to Sheldon. Shout out to the Huskies, man.
Yeah. Horrible football team, but great theater.
First of all, you don't even have one, so I don't want to hear nothing from you.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead, Mikey. Go ahead. Don't worry about it.
I didn't do football, but I know he played football, so I think he did good. I think it did. But I did theater in high school, so theater was always that outlet for me. I started when I was 11. In middle school to Schmemberg and things like that, and I did community theater. So I was always I didn't really know what that area or what that environment was because I did sports growing up, so I never really knew how to get into acting. Okay. But as far as typecasting goes, I think that really goes like for the industry as far as film because I just got in this industry professionally about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 21 years old. So I really. I'm learning as I go. Okay. But I realize now doing theater and all this stuff, it's like, okay, cool. Again, there's certain elements at play, right? We're all here to do a job. Absolutely. And the casting director is looking for someone that plays a guy with a wheelchair or a guy with crutches or whatever the case may be. They're all here for a job. We're all here to make things happen. And people look at casting directors and look at auditions like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, right? If a role with the person with the disability comes up and I fit it, I rather take it because, at the end of the day, it's a working environment of an art.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, you want to take that rather than be like, egotistical and be like, no, I don't fit that. No, at the end of the day, it's a piece of the puzzle that fits. Yep. So to me, at the age that I'm at, it's like I'm still at the foundation of my career. I'm still at the bottom, so I want to continue growing where I'm at. So I don't mind taking those positions if they come up.
Okay. Do you feel like getting those roles, even though they're asking for something specific that you feel that you fit, do you feel like those roles are still competitive? Like, are there a lot of people that show up for those casting days?
They're competitive, but also, again, you got to realize that not many shows or TV shows that I've seen when I was growing up, that they cast people with actual disabilities. They have people without disabilities play these people with disabilities. Yeah. So, again, you have that flip of the sword.
Because ultimately, that's why it's called acting.
Yeah. Again, like, I understand it's an art form. I understand why you cast people without disabilities, but at the end of the day, these are jobs that people with disabilities should be able to get. Yes. But again, it's the industry of how it is and how we should change that narrative. So that's my ultimate goal in this industry and changing the narrative of casting people with disabilities. It doesn't matter if you have a disability or not, but I believe disability roles should go to people with disabilities.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you? How do you feel when you? Now, without trying to get you to talk trash about whatever the situation may be, but how do you feel about when you see people who aren't and they're playing those roles? Is that something? And if you don't want to get into that, I understand.
No, we can definitely skip that. If
it's to me, it's half and half, right? If they're really into it, if they really do a deep dive research and they're really taking care of the character or the process itself, I respect that. If they're not taking the time to acknowledge the deep rootedness of the history of the disability or whatever the character may be, and just the bullshit, it's like, I'd rather have you take that time and care to do it rather than just half-ass it. Yep. Because there's shows I watch on TV again with people I've worked on, and I really admire their work and really admire their compassion on handling their character handling that character. So I really think it just comes down to the person. Yeah. But ultimately, it's always half and half with me. At the end of the day, it's a job, and I respect that.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
I respect that too, man. I commend you for having that thought process towards it.
My next question for you, Mikey, is going to be, like, even though you're starting out with this, like, there's going to be some questions that I'm going to have, like, that are more towards maybe, like, a long-term thought process or maybe even something you might have already dealt with. Because even though you're new, I'm still curious to ask these kind of questions. Go ahead. So, what is a dream scenario for an actor like yourself? And that could mean anything. Like, that could be you getting the lead role. That could be you working with a certain director or writer. Like if Mikey Infante had his dream scenario, top to bottom, for a role, what would that dream scenario look like for you?
Honestly, that really happened with Freaky Tales, and I'm happy. I'm not going to spill too much on it because the movie's not out yet. But Absolutely. That really, changed my life on the aspect on, I can do this as a career. And really that role and the whole cast, the whole crew and everybody, it's phenomenal. And, for me, being in this industry, it's a long game. It's a long game. It's a long haul. But at the end of the day, I'm going to put my all into it. I'm still in college, too, and people don't know that. I'm a student at university. So it's like I'm doing this at the same time. At the end of the day, I just want to take care of my family and just, put my all into this and see where it goes.
Absolutely. I mean, I know you can't really talk about him much, but Freaky Tales, Pedro Pascal, right?
Yeah.
That dude's in fucking everything right now.
Yeah.
Are you able to talk about the directors? Like their names, like just who they are?
Yeah, so Anna Boating and Ryan Fleck, they're wonderful people. They did Captain Marvel. That came out in 2019, I believe.
Yeah, 2018, 2019.
Don't quote me. But they're wonderful people. They're really sweet, very nice. Ryan is from Oakland, and they're a dynamic duo. So any project they do, they combine their heads together. They combine their expertise on what they want as artists themselves, as directors, and they paint wonderful pictures, and they just do amazing work.
And you guys just submitted that to the film festival, right?
It went to Sundance, the film festival in Utah in January. And
awesome.
We got to see the full screening and everything, and that was fun. That was the first time we've seen it in a while.
And then one thing I'll ask about it, and then I'll leave this movie alone, is like, have you been told about a time frame for the release date? I mean, maybe it could be... You can just say the year, 2024, 2025. You don't have to give anything specific.
No, it's funny that you mentioned it, because I get a lot of DMs every day. And I love everybody. Everybody that's watching, I love you. I know. I get it. I'm excited, too. I want to know. I don't even know. I don't know. It's, one of those things. They let me know, but I don't know. Okay. I just know that I'm excited for everyone to see it. It's a wonderful movie, and yeah.
Yeah,
shout out to Freaky Tales, man. Shout out to those directors that Mikey brought up, because I'm excited not only for Mikey, but that just overall seems like a great movie to watch. So I'm definitely excited for it. If you know me, you know I love my films, so that's definitely something I'm going to be on the lookout for.
It's great, man. Just working with everybody on there, and to me, that was my first professional family unit that I had. So just on that environment, it's a family thing all around. So just connecting with everybody, that was great.
That's great, then. Yeah. That makes the experience so much better for you.
Absolutely.
I did have one thing I wanted to ask you too. So something about myself is I make music. I'm a rapper. I will also co-host the Kuya.camp podcast with my boy. One thing for me is when I'm in an environment where other people are rapping too, when I see them going, it kind of hypes me up to get in my bag. Do you feel like it gets the same way when you're on set? Like, are you seeing somebody so deep into that role that it just gets you going? You know what I'm saying? It kind of pushes you to even perform better, or how do you gauge that?
I like that question, because again, this is my first professional job ever that I ever booked, and I'm very blessed to have
Congratulations to you.
And
Congratulations.
It was great. And working with the people I watched on TV, Netflix and bigger stuff, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm in the room with everybody here. Like, what? Should I be here? Really? Is this a dream? Because it really felt like a dream. It felt like a dream working every day. I felt like a kid in a candy store here. I just watched everything, watching how, serious people are in this craft and how everything works like a well-oiled machine. It's not just the actors, it's the crew, the AD, the production assistants, the camera people, the hairstylists, the makeup people, everybody on that set, man. We're working together all day and night, and it's a big family thing. Mm-hmm. So I really admired that, and just watching people I worked with, and I can learn something from you. I can learn and grow and just watch you, and just, that family unit together. I text them every day. I check people in with every day, and it's great.
That's beautiful. Heck yeah, that's tight, bro.
I love that. So to continue off of that, in a different way slightly, is as an actor, do you have a process? Because everyone talks about the method acting and all this bullshit from Daniel Day-Lewis and fucking Martin Scorsese, or not Martin, Robert De Niro, all these guys that do method acting. Yeah. Is there a process for you as an actor, whether it's remembering your lines or whether it's just overall just trying to get you pumped up to do your role before the camera goes?
I don't, you brought up a good point, the method acting method, it's very profound in the industry. I don't really have a method. It's just the foundation of practicing and memorizing the lines and just going to work and doing my best I can do. There's really no, people have their different ways of coping and different ways of getting that mindset. But me, I'm just there to do it and have fun.
Okay, I love that.
When you first got into it, man, is there any advice that you can share with us that was given to you, first day on set? Maybe you got some jitters. Is there any great advice that you received, early on in your career?
So early on in my career, I mean, I wouldn't say career-wise, but when I first started, I did community theater. I did musicals and such, and Willy Wonka, Winnie the Pooh, Shakespeare, and William Shakespeare, all these different stuff. And I realized that overall in time, acting is an art. But overall, you have to be 100% in it. If you're not in it 110%, what are you in it for? Because people think that, okay, I want to go into Hollywood. I want to make this big. I want to, become successful overnight. It's not going to happen. Like anything, like any career, any industry, things take time. Yeah. So you have to, have that mindset of, would you rather be rich and famous, or would you rather be, in this for the long haul and see where this goes? Because at the end of the day, you're rich and famous is one thing. But if you want to have a longevity in this career, what would you rather have?
Absolutely.
So pick and choose what you want to do. But either way, people have their different aspects on this industry and how it is. Because again, this industry is sought after, and I'm very blessed to be in it. But you have to have that flip of the coin of what you would want, rich and fame, or do you like the art that you do?
Got you. Yeah.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense too, because then like when you see sometimes this actor randomly blows up and then he burns out after a couple of years, you won't ever hear from him again. Maybe it's part of that conversation you're talking about. Maybe it's not really the love for that individual. Maybe it's just wanting to gain the recognition that some other people get.
Again, no hate on that. People they go in this industry, they go in different industries for many different reasons, right? Whether it's money, whether it's just getting their name out there, whatever it may be. This industry is tough. Any industry is tough. But again, acting is a bunch of rejection. You get rejection every day, any audition you do. So you have to keep that mindset on what would you want. Do you love it because you love it, or do you love it because of X, Y, and Z?
Yeah. That's definitely a fair assessment, I think, for anybody in the industry.
Yeah, it's a part of falling in love with the process.
Exactly.
I commend that. That's tight, dude.
And this can go for any short film or the freaky tales that you've worked on. Anything you've worked on up to this point. Is there any fun or memorable stories or experiences that you can share with us?
I would definitely say Sundance. Sundance was great. I mean, that was my first big professional premiere ever, and that was in Utah.
No, I mean in terms on film sets.
Oh, on film sets.
On film sets.
I have a lot of memories. I mean, especially just meeting everybody on the first day at Freaky Tales. I can't really go into our scenes or what
I was going to say, it can be even something else you did besides Freaky Tales. If there's something that just really sticks out as like a core memory.
I think a core memory was when I did the play before Freaky Tales. I did a play called The Other Room, where I played a kid with autism. His name was Austin. And when I was doing this play, I really got in depth into the foundation of theater, because again, theater is my bread and butter. It's my bread and butter to everything. So I really like the process of theater and how that really makes me feel as a person. So The Other Room was really my big first lead role in a play, and it really got my foundation. Like, oh, people are seeing me as a lead role or a person that can actually do something that's memorable. So I really enjoyed that process of it. I think a memorable moment on that play was the fact of learning on how to navigate the world as far as, because I don't have autism. I don't have autism. So just navigating the other side of that disability and really going in depth into that and just, feeling the audience and feeling that energy is wonderful.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I imagine it's different too. My bad.
No. Do you think?
I imagine it's different too doing a movie set like Freaky Tales where it's pre-recorded rather than a live audience getting their live reaction and feeding off of you with your performance. I imagine it's a little bit more, it's thrilling in its own way.
It's very intimate. It's very, I like, I haven't done theater in a while. I would love to go back and do theater. The last play I did was in February, was it February or January of this year?
Okay.
Called Before Harmony Sleeps with Jeff, directed by David Matthew Barnes. Wonderful director, love him to death. And, that energy compared to camera work, it's very intimate. It's very heartwarming and heartfelt. And you get to see people, like, again, you see people here, rather than on camera, you see the camera in front of you. You get to feed off that energy. You get to feed off that performance. And you get that nervousness and jitters, but at the end of the day, you feel the energy and you work off of it. Like any artist, I would assume if you perform at a concert, you feel the energy and you want to feed off that and you want to jump, you want to joy. So it's one of those things.
Especially when they like your product too.
I would hope so.
If they liked your acting, man, that was so. I had seen a few videos beforehand that like actors, they hold theater at a high regard, meaning that like they love theater too. And I believe you explained it perfectly too. Is that something that you feel the same way about that? Like, are you, if you have a choice in between being on set and possibly having a chance to work in theater, where are you leaning more towards? Is it all opportunity based, or which option would you choose?
I don't really have. I love both per se. Theater was my first love, and again, theater to me was my home when I was 11 and when I started in my ground up. So I really enjoy the aspects of both. But I think as far as career wise, and as I get older and as I continue to grow in this industry, I would rather do film more. Just working with these big directors like Martin Scorsese and just working with these people that I admire so much on these movies. Like I love Rocky, right? So I love Sylvester Stallone and his work. So I really want to do that one day. Just get in those spaces. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone, man, you're an OG in this game. Rocky is one of the greatest franchises of all time. Last time I checked, put this man in boxing gloves. He can fucking do it, man.
I'm ready.
That's going to make $1 billion, I promise you.
Adrian!
Adrian!
Yeah.
We're going to have some just more general but personal questions. What is your top 5 movies of all time? It doesn't have to be in a particular order. If you want to, that's fine. But I just want to ask, what is your top 5 movies?
Rocky, Edward Scissorhand, Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's 3.
That's 3.
Let's go with what's the other one? I'm blanking. Oh, Fight Club.
Fight Club. That's goated. That's goated.
Great movie.
Fight Club is good. I like what's the other? Sweeney Todd.
The Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. No one talks about that movie enough. Whenever people talk about Johnny Depp, they always bring up Edward Scissorhands. They always bring up
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. They never bring up fucking Sweeney Todd. That's like my favorite Johnny Depp movie to ever watch. That's a great list, by the way. I fuck with that list. Hunchback of Notre Dame, when it comes to Disney movies, people forget that movie.
Yeah.
So that's also another great pick of you. We do top 5s here, so I want to. So we have a couple more of those. The next one I would say is, who would you say is your top 5 actors of all time? And it could be like more of a motivational thing, like you look up to them, or you just want to 1 through 5 them just because they're your favorite. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, Sylvester Stallone for one. Michael B. Jordan. Let's see, Dolph. I forgot his last name. He was in
Lundgren. Ivan Drago.
Yeah. I know it's somewhere like I don't know. Jason Statham.
Yeah, okay, all right.
The British assassin.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Hey, Tom Hardy has been in some amazing films.
He's been crazy.
Yeah.
And I will say Austin Butler.
He's been going crazy lately.
I watched him growing up.
He's been going crazy lately.
I really am admired and just I love his progression as an actor now. It just really keeps me like, okay, cool. This, he started at Disney Channel, Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
like
he did.
Years now.
He was a kid actor, yeah. And then like his blow up the last like 2-3 years has been crazy.
Yeah.
Like because it really started like obviously he had big roles before this, but like Elvis really
popped him
catapulted him to stardom, and then now you had him as the evil nephew to the I forgot the family name, but in Dune Part 2, he was the nephew and he kicked ass in that movie.
Exactly.
And then he also had a recent movie, Bike Riders. You know that biker gang movie.
I still haven't seen it. I want to go see it though.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to go see it myself, but I think it's not even in theaters anymore. But that was also another movie. It's like this dude's killing it. You know what I mean? And then lastly, when it comes to top 5s, is like, who would you say? And this is kind of the same thing what I said with actors. Like you can use it as a want to work with them, or as just your top 5 of all time directors. You would whether top 5 you would want to work with them, or top 5 as just this is like your favorite 5 directors of all time. Okay. Or it could be both. You can combine it. It's up to you.
Honestly, for me, like I don't really have a top 5 in directors, but I'm like a sponge. I like to absorb. I'm like SpongeBob. I like to absorb everything I can get.
Yeah.
But I really admire Martin Scorsese, Tim Burton too. I would love to work on Tim Burton. Tim Burton's great, and I can't think of anything else right now. I think that Denise.
I know you're talking about the director of Dune, right?
Yeah.
It's Denise Villeneuve, something like that. Yeah, I get what you.
I think the way he thinks and the way he colors and the way he makes stories pop, I really like that. And the way the Dune franchise is.
He's definitely a visionary. Yeah. When it comes to movie storytelling, visual storytelling with his movies.
And I will say, I may be a little biased because Ryan and Anna, they're really, I love working with them. I
absolutely
I love working with them, and it was a pleasure. And just having them as my first big credit ever. I really owe all of them.
Absolutely. I love that.
Joe, real quick, who was the guy that directed Iron Man? He played Happy.
Oh, Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau.
He also played Happy.
I want to share something with you, bro. So we recently went to a comedy night because we both do stand-up comedy from time to time. These people were tearing into him.
Call me Jon Favreau the whole hour.
Yeah. Every time someone came up, they were like, "Oh yeah, you kind of do look like Jon Favreau."
Yeah. Which is so crazy because I've never gotten that before. I've been called Seth Rogen. I've been called fucking Post Malone. I've been called so many things in my life. But
Post Malone?
Yeah, in high school. Back when I was on the football team.
God, I wish I came up with that. Oh, I missed an opportunity.
You were late like 10 years.
I was.
But yeah, like I've heard so many things, but Jon Favreau was not one of them. So like. Throughout the whole night, what was it? The guy, the tall white guy, or was it the blonde girl that brought it up first?
Either one. They were either talking
about
one
of them brought it up first, and then ever since then, the whole night, they just kept bringing it up.
I'm that like, and his weight.
Damn it. Oh, okay, really?
Yep.
We're going to go there right now?
So
I thought we were going to... Huh? Okay, you want to go there?
No, not right now.
Okay,
then. I'm scared.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hide in the corner. You guys do what you do. Iron right here.
So without that, let's move on to the next question. So, is there any other fields, and it could be anything, whether something you're already doing or something you just haven't had the chance to do or want to do that you would like to explore? So it's like, what I mean by it is like, if you can want to continue exploring acting, bodybuilding, being a disability advocate, or if it's something other than those three things that you would just like to dip your toes in, what would that be?
Excuse me, I was going to burp. I don't... See, that's a tough question, because my dad was a business major and was a boxer. So I was always fascinated with the world of boxing and world of combat sports. So, with my disability, I would love to do that. I know there's people with disabilities that do that.
Yes.
But I don't know. I've seen that. I don't know necessarily if there was a wheelchair boxing sport.
I think there should be.
And a lot of them are military vets. Shout out to the military, you know what I'm saying, for those guys.
There definitely should be. I was about to say, because I see videos like that all the time. Like, whether it's, disabled basketball, disabled boxing. Like, I see this shit all the time on the internet.
But as far as, like, other business ventures, like, I think when I was younger and just seeing my cousins now, they're in the military too. So I always wanted to get in the military, but with my disability, I can't really do that. So I think with what I've done now, as far as acting, as far as bodybuilding and advocacy, I'm really strong in those things. I really like to share awareness on disabilities because, again, I was bullied a lot as a kid. So I wanted to not have people that are young now that see, hey, I can see myself doing it. I'm not alone, because I felt alone with being with
your condition.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to spread that love and make sure that people nowadays, they don't feel alone.
I love that.
Can you let me know, man? Like, one thing is, you had just mentioned that you feel bullied, and number one, we do not like.
We don't fuck with bullies.
We don't fuck with bullies, bro. For real. Yeah, we don't condone that shit. Fuck bullies, like.
We fuck with the dogs bullies, but
the dogs
but human
cool.
bullies,
they're cute.
Stomp you, your mom, your grandma,
all of them,
your entire bloodline.
One thing that I do want to ask you, bro, is like, can you give us a little bit intel about how you deal with that kind of stuff? Like, you know what I mean?
If you did ever deal with it.
So when I was younger, I grew up in South Sacramento. I went to Bowling Green.
In the heart of the ghetto. Love it.
And my mom and my dad went to Burbank. So when I was younger, I was always around people with disabilities, and I was, getting into that phase where you are implemented with the people without disabilities. I don't know what they're called. You're implemented in that scene of people without disabilities. So
like general
education or something general. I don't know what the terminology is. But when I got bullied, it was really weird for me because I just wanted to make friends. I just wanted to make friends. And people were like, no, you look, you have a disability, you use crutches, and, that's scary. And kids at that young age, they don't.
What age was this if you can bring us into that
it was
time?
second grade.
Second grade, okay.
So I was about like 7, 6 maybe. And, I was like, cool, this is great. I want to make friends. Because, at the end of the day,
you're a little kid, everyone wants to make friends.
I just want to make friends. So I used to get in fights a lot when I was a kid. And if I had to, I would go and swing and hit you. If I needed to defend myself. My dad and my mom were always like, "Hey, if anyone punks you, fight. Do what you need to
stick up for yourself."
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I've always been in that mindset. If anyone picks on me or my siblings or anything, I don't care who you are. I will throw down if I need to.
Absolutely,
absolutely. So I always looked at that like, hey, people see me differently. And I remember my mom telling me that she was in line with me one day at the library for like a book fair or something. And the kids were laughing at me behind my back, and they're like, I didn't really know why they were laughing at me. And my mom was like, well, they're laughing at you because you're different. And my family, and when I was growing up, I didn't see myself as different. I just, saw myself doing things that was normal to me. But again, to the outside world, it's like, hey, that's different. That's, we don't know what it is. But again, when you're a kid, you don't see anything as like that. Yeah. So I was always adapted to I always knew what my disability was. I just didn't know how different my lifestyle was compared to different people. So I was always just, ignoring the noise and just, moving on with what I did. And now, as I'm older, I'm like, I've done so many things in my life, and I'm very thankful for that, and different outlets I've done and different, avenues I've done to show people that, hey, I'm here now, but I'm a lot better than you. No disrespect, no shade.
No, but you gotta have that fucking confidence.
You gotta have
the
confidence. You gotta have
that shit.
Have that.
We literally talked about that in our last episode. Like, if whatever you do, you don't have fucking confidence, then don't fucking do it. Like, have your chest out. You know what I mean? Obviously, don't be a fucking arrogant asshole, but at the same time, puff your chest a little bit. You know what I mean? Let it be known that you're here.
And I try to instill it with my siblings. My siblings, they don't have disabilities. I'm the only one in my family with the disabilities, which is a very fun dynamic because, again, they see me and they don't see anything differently. but to the outside world, they're like, wow, disability, cool. You know, how is it different at home and stuff like that. So my siblings, they're not very confrontational, but if things go down to it, I'm like, hey, you know, just do what you need to do. You know, and I try to instill them just to be powerful, just be strong, and just be ambitious.
So I did want to touch on that before I ask you this next question. Is like, how, like, what is your family dynamic? You have mom, dad, you have siblings. How many siblings do you have? And are you the oldest? Are you the youngest? Are you the middle child?
So I'm the eldest. I have my second in the middle to me is my sister. She is Joey. She's 17. She's going to graduate later this year or next year, high school. And she's going to go to the military next year or sometime. I don't know when. But
you know what branch?
I don't know. She was talking to some recruiters and stuff. But I don't know which one she.
Oh, she didn't like commit yet. Or
no,
anything.
She didn't commit yet. She's 17. You know, she's doing wrestling right now too. She's kicking ass in wrestling.
Oh, awesome!
Right? She's kicking ass.
Shout out her.
She's great. And I have 3 sisters. So it's Joey, Daisy. Daisy is 13. Yeah, 13. My brother Ricky, he's 12. He just did football. Oh, he's doing football right now.
Okay, where at?
I think one of the little small peewee,
like junior Huskies or
no. It's like because he goes to like the elementary school. Not I think it's I forget what, like Adriani, but there's like a outside football.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Pee-wee program.
Yeah, Pee-wee program.
Pop Warner program.
Yeah, and then my sister Lexi, she is 10.
10. Okay.
But she's on a Roblox on her phone. Yelling.
Oh, she's an iPad kid.
Yeah. It's that generation.
That alpha generation.
But she's doing soccer next week. So
next week, okay, awesome.
So everyone's pretty much in their own thing, you know. And I'm just, you know, being the eldest, being the first kid. My mom had me.
And you're the oldest of 4, then, right? Because 3 sisters and your younger brother. That's what's up.
My mom had me at 21. My dad, he was 23. So just, you know, me being the first for everything. I'm like. Seeing how they're treated, I'm like, this is not how I was treated when I got, you know,
when I was growing up.
I get so jealous of my daughter the way that my mom treats her compared to how I was treated. So
he's just upset because his mom told him he's not allowed to eat rice. You know what I mean? And he just took that personal.
Yeah, I love rice.
Mom, we can't have rice today. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And now, you know what I mean, since his daughter can have rice, he's just upset about it.
I think it's, you know, being the eldest sibling, you know, providing and paving that way. Like, okay, I'm the first one to go to college too, so you know, going to college
and like your entire family,
or
well,
just
my dad went to college.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember you said he was a business major.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was, and then just being.
But setting that example for your siblings.
You know, I want to show them that. And my sister too. I think Daisy. She really wants to get into acting. She's a diva. She's got attitude. She's you know really. I think she'd be good for this industry. I think she's got.
Is that the youngest one?
No, that's a 17-year-old, right?
No, the 17-year-old is Joey. She is wrestling.
Oh, Joey.
She kicks ass, man. If anyone got a problem with her, she got no problem. You gotta put you down on that. But Daisy, she's 13.
Okay.
And you know, my brother and her are Irish twins, so they're like a couple months apart. Her and Ricky. But I think she really wants to get in the theater and really wants to get in this industry. But she's also doing wrestling as well. So I really, you know, want to put them on the right path and see wherever they want to go.
Seems like you have a very active family.
Yeah, very active.
Definitely.
Yeah,
most definitely.
When I was younger, my dad always used to instill in me that, you know, being active and doing what you want to do, just do it. You know, put your all into it, put 110%. If you don't do it, don't half-ass it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And so to talk about family, I did want to ask, like, because of your condition, I'd imagine, you know what I mean, like, it takes a piece of everybody to chip in when it comes to getting you somewhere or helping you read your lines at home. Like so basically what I'm going to ask is, with everything you do and how busy you are as an individual, how important... Oh, no, do your thing. How important is your support system / family to you?
It's everything. You know, I think the saying is friends are family that you choose, and I really stand by that as well. You know, family is important, but the friends that you choose can be your family, right? Blood is thicker, you know, if it's, you know, actual blood, you know, blood can be anybody, you know, and, you know, it's the way you think of it. So I really think as long as you have a good people around you, a good support system, whether it be blood relative, family, or just friends that you grew up with, you know, really having that support system, like, hey, I can do this, you can do it too, or, you know, just putting everyone up. Like with this podcast, you are putting every single person on here and telling their story and making this podcast happen, right? Which I think is very admirable. And very honorable.
I appreciate it.
Because again, this is a family thing. This is, you know, this is a family unit thing that I see right now. Like, you guys, you know, talk your shit, have fun, but, you know, it's a family right here.
Yeah.
I think that's really, that's great, because nowadays we should have that. You know, talk your shit, do what you gotta do, but at the end of the day, family is everything. Friends, whatever, cousins, Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
So for me, family is most. I'm a family oriented person. So whenever I talk to someone, I'm like, you know, you've got siblings, cool. You know, I'm really into that. I really like family. I really think family makes everything.
Yeah.
Friends or whatnot.
Awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who do you feel in your family, or it could be a friend, who do you feel is your rock / biggest supporter throughout your acting career and everything else that you do?
No, it's all good. It's all good, brother. That's a water break. That's what that sounds like. Break. Yeah. Hey, stay hydrated. Message from the camp.
Please do.
Shout out So for the powdered donuts.
Shout out So. That's facts. Heck yeah, man.
Oh, man,
yeah, Joey ate all the chocolate ones, all of them in one bite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They call you a vacuum on both ends.
Oh.
Your front end and back end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Stand on that?
Let him answer his question. Quit being rude.
Oh, my.
Now I have the image in my head. I want to go. I don't have the image in my head.
If you need me to repeat the question, I'll repeat it for you.
I just have the image in my head now.
Now guess what? Thanks to me.
Wow, you're wild.
I think your question was like...
Yeah. Basically, I'll just repeat it. So, who do you feel, and it could be friend or family, like I said, is your rock, your person, which is also like your biggest supporter with everything you do when it comes to your acting, your bodybuilding, your advocacy. I mean, who do you feel is that person for you?
My mama.
Hey,
shout out to moms,
shout out
man.
to all the mothers in the world.
Mama make the world go round.
Because she had me when she was 21, and people, you know, when she was 21, the doctors always told her, you're overthinking it, you know, and, you know, when my disability, I was born really early. I was supposed to be born in, like, October, September. I was born in July.
Ooh, yeah.
I was a micro preemie.
Yeah, I was a preemie too, so I understand that, but...
And the doctors kept telling her, hey, you're overthinking it, you're young, and just, you know... But, you know, the doctors kept telling him that, you know, he wouldn't be able to walk, talk, or be blind, deaf, or mute. And here I am, baby. Here we are doing what you got to do.
Absolutely, baby. Beating the odds. Absolutely.
Beating the odds every fucking day.
Every time.
So my mama is, you know, she's number one. And I keep telling her every day, like, when
Is she the one that's always with you at the film sets and, like, behind the scenes shit?
Usually, yeah. Sometimes, like, for Freaky Tale is my dad. You know, for the first big thing ever, I wanted to share that. I wanted, you know, 1 week here with my dad, you know, just to get the experience in the whole 9 yards. My mom was there filming the self-tapes for me, filming the auditions and everything. So she's my little coach behind the scenes. She's like, okay.
Shout out to mom,
do
man.
that.
Yeah.
So she's, you know, she took me to theater. She took me to, you know, all these different practices, and just where I'm at now. I'm like, when I make it big, I'm going to take care of her, you know, get her a house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the first woman you love, man.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, bro. So my mom, too, had me at a little bit of a young age. Yeah. She had me at 20. And the way she explains it a lot is that, like, we grew up together. You know what I mean? And because we're only 20 years apart, and still so young at that age, at 20, to have a kid and not know anything about it, because she was the baby of her family. Do you feel that same way? Like, have you and your mom elevated together at the same time? Like, do you feel you grew up with her, and vice versa for her, for you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think, you know, again, she's got 4 kids, so she's got a handful, you know.
Definitely.
She got a handful. So I think just seeing her progression as a mother and seeing how hard she's working now, I love that for her. Again, my siblings, I don't see how hard she's working. Again, you know, behind the scenes, it's tough. Life is tough. But at the end of the day...
But as the oldest, you understand.
I see, you know, how much she's putting in, and I admire her for it, and I love her for it. You know, without her, none of us would be here. Without my dad, none of us would be here. You know, the two of them, and, you know, they're divorced. But at the end of the day, you know, I want to make sure they're happy, and I love everyone, like, as much as I should be. So my mom, I'm very proud of her, and she's doing what she got to do. She's a pheblostomist.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great career.
She did that during COVID, and then she works at a place, Total Sculpting, which is where they shred fat off you for bodybuilding shows and just losing weight.
There you go. Oh, really? There you go.
Coming from the one that shaped like a bowling ball.
You said this already.
I'm gonna keep saying it.
Okay, well, listen, the opportunity's
the one that's built like Bob from Monsters and Aliens.
Listen, I'll pay for it.
Do you want me to keep going?
I'll pay for it.
Do you want me to keep going?
I got you. You're gonna have that dream body. You're gonna.
Don't worry. I have you on your trans surgery. I got you.
You're gonna
your transitional surgery. I got it. We're
gonna get it.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, that's alone. It's cancelable. You're gonna look just like Ivan Drago when they're done with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna look like Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
But you're fat, and you're like nothing like her.
I'll take that.
So basically, I'm saying you're gonna look like a woman.
Oh, okay. Tell you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, and this can go for any of the films you have done up to this point, but obviously the biggest one right now is Freaky Tale. Yeah. So, what was like your biggest shock for the first time you ever went on the set for Freaky Tales? Or it could be anything.
Yeah.
But, like, what was, like, the biggest, like, wow, like, I'm doing it? Whether it's Freaky Tales or anything else.
So I will say, without going into any detail,
right, of course.
The first day of set, it was a long day. And I'm just sitting here just with this with my buddy Jack Champion. He's great. He did he's a young kid. He just turned 19, and I just working with him and just seeing how everything worked. I'm like, I'm really here with this guy that's done so many things with people that have worked on Venom and things and big movies. I'm like, I'm just a kid from Sacramento just doing theater. I'm here. So that really put my. I still feel like it's a dream. I still feel like it's a dream every time I talk about it because again, it's a very meaningful moment for me. And just seeing how everything worked. And I remember doing this scene one day with everybody, and we were all sitting down doing our scene, and I was looking around like daydreaming almost when we were shooting. Like, I'm here with people that were on Netflix and big movies and big shows.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is my I made it moment. I haven't made a lot of money yet, but this is my I made it moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And, it's one of those things.
You ever heard of that thing called like the Imposter Syndrome, where like when you get to a certain level in your career or whatever path you're choosing, to where like you're around these people who've been doing it, who have the notoriety, and you feel like I shouldn't be here, which you just mentioned. Do you feel like that happens often to you? And if it does, like how do you deal with that? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, bro, I feel like if you just have the confidence in that moment and you just tell yourself like, no, I'm meant to be here, I'm meant to be a part of this, then it kind of goes away. Not without getting cocky, but like how do you deal with that?
I think for me, because again, I got verified on Instagram about a year ago.
There you go.
So when I got verified, I'm like, oh my God. And then the articles started coming out, my publicist and all these things started. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, I always knew acting was a hard career. I always knew it was difficult. And I always had this plan, like, okay, if I didn't make it at this time, I would go to a state job or something that's, more stable.
Yes.
And now I'm like, wow, I can actually do this. I can actually be here. It's tough, but I'm here for the long run. So really, I think just knowing, and people that know me in real life, they think that, hey, all these things changed you. Verification, articles. No, none of that changed me. Social media and status can change you. People can say that perception is everything.
Yeah.
But if you know me in person, I'm a very down to earth person.
Absolutely.
I don't look at everything like, hey, I have 500,000 followers. I have, whatever. The likes don't matter. The comments don't matter. None of this matters. At the end of the day, that's the perception that people want. But media is fake, right? And it's the way you want to do things. I'm not going to be here acting on Hollywood like, no, I don't want to do this interview. I want to do this interview because I love you. I love people here. I love the energy. I love the positivity.
Appreciate that.
One of those things. Yep, we definitely try to exude that.
This is kind of like a two-parter. You kind of touched on it, and if you don't want to answer, it's completely up to you. It's like, but I'm curious as a person just on the outside looking in when it comes to acting specifically is like financially. So the first part of the question I'll say is like, up to this point, if you could, if like I said, if you don't want to, or if you can't, that's totally fine. But if, like, even if it's not Freaky Tales, or even if the other movies you've done up to this point, like financially speaking, and like, how does that work? Like in terms of like how much? And like I said, if you don't want to, that's totally fine.
How does the payment work? You know what I mean? Is it a consignment kind of thing?
Obviously, because me and him, I brought this up to him yesterday, and he was like asking about royalties. Well, I'm like, you can't really get royalties, unless you get with a movie company that's big like Disney or like, something that involves royalties. Franchise movies.
That's the question that everyone wants to look on Google. I mean, that's even a question I looked at myself on Google the other day. I'm like, how much royalties should I get? Just for shits and giggles. But honestly.
And the reason why I asked this is because for two reasons. Like, one, obviously just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And two, it's just more like, is acting, especially in the smaller parts, financially sustainable for someone to do as a job or as a career? That's why I'm curious.
Yeah. So I don't know if you were aware of this, but last summer we had this thing called SAG and WGA strike. What SAG is basically
the writers and the movies all went on, and the actors went on strike and everything.
Yeah. So SAG is basically the Screen Actors Guild, where essentially all professional actors on all your shows, Mandalorian, Euphoria, all these big shows, the actors are in it and they want they're paid to be there. It's a union that protects you. because all different companies have a union. So,
is that your guys' form of union?
Yeah, that's our form of a union. You have to, get in a big production, pay the $3,000 fee for the initiation fee, and then after that they cover you for everything. So any project you do has to be unionized. But during that time, last summer, that was horrible because no one was working.
Yeah.
And no one was working. And again,
but a lot of movies had to be put on pause.
Yeah, like
of
even
that stuff,
Euphoria, like even that's going into production this next year.
January, it's finally going. Yeah.
So that really put a halt on everything. But again, as far as stability and the financial success of being an actor, it's not, unless you're a really big actor, like in the top percentage of big things, then I don't think you have nothing to worry about. But as far as people that are just doing just to pursue their career but also make the dream happen, there's things that people do. They do waitress jobs, they do personal training and such. So again, this career isn't as glamorous as it seems online or overall. There's bills to pay. There's things that happen. So
if you had to just ballpark it, like, hey, I'm Jose Ledesma, I have a movie coming up.
Yeah.
I want to cast you in it. Here's this part, this not a huge part, but not a small part either, like an average movie part, like, and I want to give you X amount of dollars. What would the ballpark be when you've talked to these people?
Well, okay, so again, it's funny, I don't have an agent or a manager yet. So everything I've done
is through you directly.
It's just, Freaky Tales was different, but in the other movie I did with Ashanti, I'll tell you about that later. But that those are big professional budgets, and those are big professional things. As far as independent ones, they're me. But it really depends on how you negotiate. So I would say around ballpark 10,000, 15,000. It just depends on what it is.
Further, like a movie like Freaky Tales, that's a bigger production.
Bigger productions, they depend on what the budget is. They depend on how big the thing is and how it is. So really, could I say you can make a stable career off this if you're really frugal with your money?
Yeah.
But again, with this economy, I don't think so. So I would say, this industry, it's not. If you're not money hungry for it, just look at it for the craft.
Right.
But it's one of those things where you can't really put a price on what the art you make.
Awesome. I like I said, I'm just curious because, for somebody who's watching this that wants to be an actor or who probably already is an actor but hasn't gotten the Freaky Tales type of role yet, maybe they're curious, and I'm definitely curious,
Yeah. Is that like when you guys do start talking about payment-wise? Again, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Is it an upfront kind of payment thing? Do you get paid on the back end with certain things? Is something you can't talk about?
So again, I don't know about TV because I know people that I've worked with that have more experience with me that have done TV. So TV may be a little differently. For movies, it's a flat fee.
Okay.
So for SAG, for example, our base pay or flat scale would be $3,000 a week. $3,000 week.
And that's a SAG requirement.
That's a SAG requirement.
Okay.
So there's different tiers. There's different contracts. There's low budget. There's high budget. There's short films. So it depends on what it is. Like for short films, for example, you can be looking at like $200, $300 a day, whatever it may be. So ultimately, the numbers aren't great. They aren't,
Unless you're the top 1%ers that make $1 million a movie, it's not super glamorous financially.
Unless you get to that level, which I pray everyone does. I hope one day that I get not for the money, just for the sake I want to take care of my family, take care of my kids, and take care of my future family in the process.
Yes, sir.
But it's not glamorous. It's just you're there because you love it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're there for the money, you're not gonna find it there.
Excuse me.
Definitely. One thing I did want to ask you, man, because like you had mentioned earlier that you don't have like a manager or the other thing, but you do have a publicist. Yeah. Okay. So shout out to my guy Josh Jordan. Something he says all the time, team shit. So can you stress on us the importance of having a team around you help you get into these positions, these opportunities? Because I'm not asking you to give us like your percentages that you would pay these people, but like how many roles are there around you as an actor? Like,
can potentially be once you get
for
more
people
roles.
who aren't actors or who are trying to get into acting, what is something that you would suggest having around you to get you into these things?
So I didn't get my publicist until after Freaky Tales, until I was working on that, and then because a friend of mine got me into that position, but really. it just comes down to word of mouth and it comes down to marketing. So, for example, my publicists take care of your interviews, articles, and just making sure your brand is good. If I was on TMZ, like, okay, Mike was drinking at TMZ, he threw up. We don't want that there. You know, they take care of that. They make sure that you can answer.
Have your image.
Yeah, they want to make sure that your image, and they want to make sure that you're good. So, if my publicist was here today, he would look at me like, okay, I'm staring at you in the corner. You know, it's one of those things. They want to take care of your image. They want to make sure that everything is good. But as far as that can also be used as leverage, because right now I don't have an agent or a manager. So with what I do now with everything, it's one of those things where like, hey, Mikey's doing all this on his own. Without just his publicist and just my family around me. But you really have to find someone that fits you and works with you and builds that, because again, my publicist, his name is Eric, and
shout out Eric.
He just started very young, and he was like, hey, he hit me up one day, he's like, hey, I want to work with you. I said, okay, I like your hustle, I like your approach. Let's build together. Let's do that. Let's build and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, heck yeah. Shout out to you for taking an opportunity on him.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean?
Did he already have like people he worked with beforehand, or
he did? But
one of his first
he
major?
does, but they're more like businesses as far as bigger businesses, bigger things. Yeah. So I was a first actor client on his list as far as publishing. So everything that he's done for me and everything that we worked on regarding entertainment, it's new for him. So we're learning as we go.
There you go. But I think that's amazing too. So a lot of times, like in the rap world, what rappers will do is they'll get with a producer and they'll start going hard in the paint together, and they'll create their own sound, and then they'll start marketing themselves, and eventually you kind of know what to expect from this artist kind of thing. Is it the same way with like a publicist? You know what I mean? Is there like do they help you develop a certain image? You know what I'm saying? Staying in a certain lane?
It depends. Like, for example, with me doing everything I've done, I have a disability. I'm Latino. I do bodybuilding. I do all these different things, different outlets. So, again, if I didn't have that, he would have to start from scratch and be like, okay, we need to make you interesting. Because if I wasn't interesting, none of that would have worked. None of that would have helped him in his favor. But it really comes down to, the partnership and what like again, like you said, for artists, you work with a producer or a director or a music videographer that you really like and you really fuck with, and you're like, oh, I like you. Let's build together. We're not going to become, blowing up overnight, but we're going to build this team together and see where this goes.
Yeah.
So I did want to give you kind of the floor now, since we are getting towards the end of the episode, to talk about anything that's upcoming. Obviously, your movies, TV shows, whatever it is you're a part of that's coming up, whether it's even outside of acting related, bodybuilding, advocacy work. I'm going to give you the floor to just take the time you need to talk about everything you have coming up. I know you mentioned you have a movie with Ashanti coming out. Yeah. So if you want to maybe start from that point, I'm just going to give you the floor.
So the movie with Ashanti is called No Address. It has Lucas Jade Zuman, Isabella Ferreira. I think I'm butchering her name wrong. I'm sorry. But it has Ty Pennington, Beverly D'Angelo, Xander Berkeley, and we filmed that in Sacramento here.
Awesome.
And it's based around homelessness and just the awareness on these different characters that have these trials and tribulations of what goes on in being homeless. And I got to play a role in that, so that was great. That was fun for a day. Very dirty, but that's coming out. That's coming out in the fall, and I think it has a very huge message and a good message behind it. So I'm very excited for everyone to see that.
That's tight.
Another one I'm doing called Under Pressure with my buddy Ozzy. We talked about it before this. That's coming out. It's doing a festival right now, but it's coming out next year. I'm working with Zacchaeus the Great. I don't know if you know who he is. He's done a bunch of Instagram videos and IG Reels and stuff. I love him. He's great. A good, funny creator on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We worked on this thing called Pimpin' Ain't Easy coming out next.
Yes, I seen that.
Yeah.
Yes, I seen that.
That was the one I also was like really curious about too.
Pimpin' Ain't Easy's coming out. I mean,
it's not.
It's really not. Ask Too Short.
No, Zacchaeus is great. I love him. We're working on something together next week, another skit. But, again, I like working with local creators and like working with local talent and doing that.
That's beautiful, bro. Yeah, you're putting on for the city, too. So
absolutely.
Right, man, little by little.
Like, definitely starting with Freaky Tales. That's going to be, that's definitely going to be a big thing. Yeah. Also, one other thing I did want to ask.
While you're looking those up, couple comments here. We got the Cosmic Lore saying what's up, and we got G Menez saying yo yo. Shout out Kuya Flip and Mikey Infante.
Yo. Shout out, man. Really quick though, while he's getting his thoughts together, I wanted to ask you because you mentioned boxing. Are you follow the sport? Are you a big boxing fan?
When I was growing up, my dad was a boxer, so I was always around that. I always knew, I was always around that, but I never really. I got into it as I got older. I got into UFC, but I don't really watch it as much.
Okay.
Because I don't have cable.
Hey,
okay, I feel that.
I got you. Yeah.
Stream East.
Yeah.
Stream East.
Sometimes you got to read the newspaper the next day. I get it.
Watch them highlights on YouTube. They're free. They're free.
Hey, they are. Yeah. Shout out to them though, man. That's tight.
Okay, so outside of acting, what I did want to ask is there any future events? Such as could be a bodybuilding thing, or it could be maybe an activist thing that you're doing. It could be anything that's outside of acting. I want to stress that part.
Yeah.
That you have coming up, events wise, just something personal for you. Could be anything. I also want to give you the floor to talk about that.
No events wise, baby. We're just here living day by day. I mean, ultimately, I'm gonna start school again. In a few weeks, or I'm doing some school right now. I'm gonna get my degree and see where that goes, and be a Hornet, and let's do it. We're a Hornet, SAG State. Let's do it.
Hey, shout out SAG State.
Shout out SAG State,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Well, man, I appreciate you, Mikey, for coming on here, man. You've been awesome, man. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity, along with all the future guests we're gonna have on here. It's we're like I said, we're starting out, but this has been a blessing so far, and shout out to you specifically. I'm excited for anything you got coming up, man. You have my information, you know what I mean?
Of course, we're launching.
You know what I mean? So I want to stay in touch. I want to talk about, you know what I mean? Even if it's just us bullshitting, I just, you know what I mean, want to have that back and forth. So again, thank you. Shout out to Mikey, man. Clap it up.
Shout out Mikey, man. Mikey Infante.
Shout out
one
to
and only.
Shout out to my boy Kuya Flip, man, with the co-host work. He's doing his fucking thing.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Josh and Soph, man, doing the behind the camera work, man. Appreciate you guys. I know you can't put it on you, but shout out to you guys. Love you, man. This episode, man, like I said, when I was thinking about people I can hit up, especially the first few people, like you were immediately one of those people that just came to my mind, and I just because like it's people are trying the things that you're trying now, but without your disability. So the fact that you're doing the things that you're doing with your condition, I just find that fucking like awesome, dude.
I appreciate
like it's like totally kick ass. And like if people don't find that inspiring, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. You know what I mean? Get off your couch, touch some grass. You know what I mean? Because this dude's fucking getting out there and touching grass, baby. Making connections, making movies.
I appreciate that.
So
I'm willing over grass or stepping on grass, but either way, what crutches?
Either way, if there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying? We finna get to that bag. Either one. I love it, man.
So that's why I was just really happy to get you on here, man, to tell your story, man, because I find it fucking inspiring. I respect the shit out of what you do, and I'm excited for your future. I'm gonna definitely keep tabs on you and what you're doing. So I'm excited, man, for whatever you got going on. Stay in touch. Shout out to everybody that's watching this, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning into this episode. This means a lot to me. Like I said, I already shouted out everybody. Shout out kuya.camp. And I hope, it's Saturday. It's 1 o'clock on a Saturday. I hope you guys have a great Saturday, man. Like I said, we have August 10th, JR Kratos, professional wrestler. August 24th, Rico Too Smooth. September 14th, Jay Kent. September 28th, Be Easy Will. Shout out to the homie Be Easy Will. And then October we have the Perez, and then we have
shout out DJ to the Perez, man.
Perez, yeah, sorry about that. And DJ Money Gang. I forgot those dates, but they're in October. So if you know anyone or you yourself want to come on to the show, I still have 2 dates in November, 2 dates in December available. So get in contact with me personally on Instagram, PR_Poppy916, or get in contact with even my partner right here, Kuya Flip, on Instagram. Like I said, I'm looking for anybody that's willing to come on here that has something they want to showcase. And also, I mentioned on the last episode, I'm going to mention it again. If you have a business or something you would like to have promoted, also get in contact with me. We will do a 30-second promo for you. Shout out your business, because we care about Sacramento businesses, local businesses, small businesses. We care about everybody. So please get in contact with me so we can make that fucking happen. I love you guys. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I hope